Heatstroke and mortal peril on the set of Dune Part 2. And we're not talking about Paul Atreides' fateful duel with Feyd-Rautha. Dune Part 2, the follow-up to Denis Villeneuve's 2021 film Dune, is due in theaters on March 1, 2024, and is the second half of Frank Herbert's celebrated 1965 sci-fi epic of the same name. The first film was impressively designed and beautifully photographed, ultimately winning 6 Academy Awards. That audiences found the film somewhat oblique and difficult to follow was appropriate, seeing as obliqueness was the primary feature of Herbert's novel. Dune is an infamously complicated and expansive work, with a massive unique mythology that required a glossary of terms. It's so complicated, in fact, that Villeneuve felt the need to split the story in half, making 2 films instead of 1. As a result, the first film ends on a bit of a cliffhanger.
This is only the beginning.
In brief, the bulk of the story of the first film takes place in the desert world of Arrakis, the only known source of the spice, a trippy hallucinogen that also makes space travel possible, somehow. Arrakis was ruled by the evil House Harkonnen for decades, but at the beginning of the film, the Emperor installs the benevolent House Atreides in the Harkonnens' place. It seems, however, that this was a scheme to allow the Harkonnens to return in secret and kill off the Atreides. The heir to House Atreides, Paul, escapes the Harkonnen attack and flees into the care of the Fremen, the remote desert-dwelling natives of Arrakis. That was where the first Dune ended. The desert scenes in Dune and Dune Part 2 were filmed in Wadi Rum, Jordan, and the Liwa Oasis in the United Arab Emirates. These are actual desert locations and came with their own natural heat. Actor Austin Butler, who plays the evil Feyd-Rautha in Part 2, was recently interviewed by Variety, and he revealed that the heat on the set was so excessive that it began to hinder certain people working on the picture. He also revealed that it was so hot that people were passing out from heat stroke. But as it turns out, it wasn't the heat of the desert that contributed to the heat stroke in question. Instead, it was a scene shot in Budapest, Hungary that made people dizzy. While shooting on a soundstage, the temperature rose to 110 degrees.
Yeah, Austin's good. He's been fighting in a frying pan, and I was like, ha! Yeah. He was like, no, seriously.
No, there's people passing out from heat stroke.
Butler's character is meant to stand as a political counterpoint to Paul Atreides. In the book, Paul eventually becomes the Kwisatz Haderach, a messiah figure to the Fremen. He's prophesied to rally the Fremen and stage a massive desert counterstrike against House Harkonnen, even going so far as to train and ride the massive sandworms that populate the deep desert. Feyd-Rautha, meanwhile, is the Harkonnen golden child, and the wicked family positions him as a direct rival to Paul. In Dune Part 2, Feyd-Rautha was envisioned as being pale, white, and bald. The baldness came from a latex cap affixed to Austin Butler's head, and it didn't make filming in the heat any easier. As Butler said, it was 110 degrees and so hot. I had the bald cap on, and it was between 2 sound stages that were just these gray boxes of 200-foot walls and sand. It became like a microwave. There were people passing out from heat stroke. During an appearance on the Graham Norton Show, Butler even confirmed the scene in question, when Feyd-Rautha is seen battling surviving prisoners of the Atreides clan in a giant open arena.
My first fight was the arena, which you see, it's the one in black and white, which is filmed on an infrared camera. It was 110 degrees outside.
The sequence serves to establish how deranged Feyd-Rautha is, and how he thrives when committing acts of violence. But when you watch the scene in question, just remember that everyone working on the picture was sweltering in the 110-degree heat. On the plus side,
it bonds the entire crew.
Director Denis Villeneuve is also quoted by Variety saying that he deliberately took a break between filming Dune and Dune Part 2, as the heat was a legitimate issue. Sounds like a reason to appreciate the air conditioning of a movie theater.